Okay, so this is the chemical reactions lab. We're talking about chemical reactions this chapter and chemical equations. And so if we're going to talk about all this stuff, obviously we need to do an experiment where we have a chemical reaction. And what is the totally cliche, common, we know it and love it, chemical reaction that everybody hears about is the vinegar and baking soda chemical reaction. Great, it's easy because we have vinegar, we have baking soda, and it's going to be exciting. There's lights and explosions and maybe just bubbles, but this is what we're going to do. And it's going to be a chemical reaction, which is, what does that mean? Is we're putting two substances together. So we have vinegar and we have baking soda. And at the beginning, they're vinegar and they're baking soda, right? And they have the attributes of vinegar and baking soda. When we put them together, they're going to react with each other and they're going to change each other. And then at the end of the experiment, it's not going to be vinegar and baking soda anymore, which is kind of a big deal. We have, one thing changing into another thing. And, if you want to get philosophical about it, you can talk about substantial change and all of that. But this is cool. So, let's do it. We have vinegar. Put some of that in here. Okay, I'm right at about it. 2 tablespoons, close enough. And baking soda. So, like I said, at the start, we have vinegar. How do we know it's vinegar? Well, it says vinegar, but it smells like vinegar. It smells pretty nasty, and it tastes like vinegar, which doesn't taste actually that nasty. So it's definitely vinegar. I tried it. I can verify it. I vouch for it as vinegar. This is baking soda, and we'll mix them together here. Take a good big spoonful of this. Here we go. Now you see the wisdom of the plate under the beaker. Ha-ha. Okay, so that's reacting and bubbling. Thousands and millions of molecules and atoms are crashing together and holding on and changing and reorienting their configuration, all kinds of crazy things right now. And we're just sitting here watching, having a pleasant conversation. I'm going to swirl this around and kind of mix it up. You can hear it bubbling and get the rest of that reaction to go. So there's not any little pockets of vinegar hanging around that still want to be vinegar and aren't really too sure about this whole baking soda thing. And if you look in the lab write-up, I put the actual equation in there. I don't remember the specifics. I know that you get, carbon dioxide and something else out of it. I don't know the name of the actual ion. But, okay. So that should be totally reacted, and we just made substantial change. We just changed vinegar. We took vinegar, it was minding its own business, and we destroyed it. We entirely made it cease to exist. It's not vinegar anymore, but the parts are still there. And if you look at the equation, you'll see that there's the same amount of oxygen, the same amount of hydrogen, same amount of calcium or whatever. Is there calcium? I think there's calcium in baking soda. It's all still there. We haven't violated the conservation of matter. We haven't created ex nihilo or decided that we're God or anything like that. The parts are all still there, but they're rearranged and it's no longer vinegar. So how do we know it's no longer vinegar? Well, here, if we take it, this glass is going to definitely smell and taste like vinegar because it's got vinegar all over it from that messy experiment. But here, if we pour it into a glass that's clean here, then, as it doesn't smell like vinegar anymore, so it's not quite as sharp, you can definitely tell there's a definite smell change, as smelling vinegar is very unpleasant. This just kind of smells funky. So, and then don't do this because I'm not sure what's in here, but it shouldn't taste like vinegar either if we're right about this. So, and it doesn't. It's very salty. I don't know if that's supposed to taste salty or not, but it doesn't taste like vinegar. Vinegar is very sour. So this is not vinegar. It doesn't smell like vinegar. It doesn't taste like vinegar. And by the looks like a duck, quacks like a duck principle, it's probably not vinegar. So there you go. That's the experiment. And we just did a chemical reaction. We're done.